hold tight. Chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move. You can make me move. Can make me move.
And we are live once again. What's going on, everybody? And welcome back to the 2-on-0 Hockey Show. Carter Bentavenga, Andrew Marisi, your two co-hosts with nothing standing in the way of covering the greatest game in the world, being hockey. Andrew, my friend, I think you are muted. So how are you doing today after you unmute yourself?
Whoops, forgot about that. Sorry about that. I'm doing well. Last night, not that well, but we'll get to that later. But I'm doing good. How about you?
What happened last night? I'm confused.
I'll let you talk about it, all right?
Talk about what?
Just, you can talk about it.
Well, before we get into some of the things that happened last night, it was a very good night, at least for me anyway. Andrew might not agree with that, but yeah, I mean, we are currently live on the Northeast Streaming Sports Facebook page, the YouTube channel. We are back on Zodiac TV. We are on my personal Facebook and my personal Twitch, as well as my personal YouTube. So we are streaming to a lot of different destinations. Yeah, I mean, before we get started, we just want to give a big thank you to Linda, Mac, everybody here, just giving us a amazing opportunity to show our hockey knowledge for everybody and contribute a lot of hockey knowledge to an already amazing network. So we just want to thank everybody here for that. All right, so now I guess we can kind of well, the first thing that I really want to get into before we do anything else here, last night was a big, I guess you could say, turning point in how the Eastern Division standings are kind of, going to turn out near the end of the season. So we have the Washington Capitals and New York Islanders tied at 62 points atop the East Division. Pittsburgh Penguins at 61, sitting in third. Boston Bruins at 58 in fourth, and the New York Rangers just behind them at 52. Philadelphia right behind them at 47. So, Andrew, as the season's kind of coming to an end here, at this point, some teams only have, I think, anywhere from 10 to maybe around 13 or 14 games. Of course, it varies from team to team. Do you see any big changes coming to the Eastern Division playoff picture, or do you think that every team's pretty much set in stone where they are?
Right now, the way you put it, Washington, Islanders, Pittsburgh, Boston, I really don't see any changes. I mean, the only changes I could see is just where every team is placed. But I think the East has their 4 playoff teams ready to go. It kills me to say it as a Ranger fan, but Rangers are 6 points out of the 4th spot, and Boston does have 2 games on hand on the Rangers. So, I mean, I'd say most likely we have 4 playoff teams, but I know the Rangers and the Bruins, I believe they play either the last 2 or 3 games against each other. So those are going to be very, very big games for each team, deciding who makes the playoffs and whatnot. But I think we have the 4 in the East.
I think the tough thing is, and obviously we'll get into this as the show rolls on here, but Boston's currently on a 5-game winning streak. So, I mean, as of right now, it's making it very tough for teams like the Rangers and the Flyers to, even begin to catch up to them. Um, I mean, you might have answered this earlier in your answer before. Do you think the Bruins are going to hold on to that fourth and final spot? Do you think the Rangers have a chance to catch up to them, or?
I mean, there's definitely a chance that the Rangers can, but do I think it's gonna happen? No. So I do think Boston's gonna keep that fourth spot, and just the way the players have been playing, Marchand, Bergeron, Pastrnak, Tuukka Rask, not Marchand, McAvoy, and Taylor Hall. I think they'll pretty much get the fourth spot with ease.
Well, I don't know if I would call it with ease just yet. Of course, there's still a lot of a lot of time to be made up here, and I mean for the Rangers, it's going to take a big run here, and they were on a 4-game winning streak up until last night. Now I can put my favorite headline up. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to let you talk about this. How'd you feel about last night there, buddy?
Well, obviously you have it here. Isles annihilate the Rangers at the Coliseum. Yay! I'm so happy about this. Isles winning 6-1 over the Rangers. Really, Isles kind of just rolled. I think they got off to a 3-0 lead, and basically from there, it was just all Isles. Rangers playing just really, really bad hockey. This is probably one of the worst games of the year. They couldn't get anything going. In the middle in the neutral zone. The only goal was scored by Kevin Rooney. Kravtsov got the assist along with Brendan Smith. But, I mean, I just want to say Kevin Rooney's been pretty decent for the Rangers, scoring his 7th goal of the year. He's been a big penalty killer for them. He's just been solid for them. Shesterkin, 22 saves and 28 shots. The first 3 goals, really, he couldn't do anything about. I think the first one was – do you remember what the first goal was for the Islanders? You probably know.
I mean, I have the highlight film, but I'm sure you probably don't want to watch that. So,
Of course you do. Of course you do. But
I mean, hey, it's what we do. We're supposed to break down.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But
do you want to pull it up, Andrew? Do you want me to do that?
Maybe as soon as I'm done with this. But Beauvillier having a great game. 1 goal, 3 assists, 4 points. Ties a career high in points in a game. And the only other time he scored 4 points in a game, I don't know if you know this, was on November 15, 2018 against the Rangers as well.
He had a hat trick in that game.
He did have a hat trick in that game, yes. And for his career, he has 20 career points against the Rangers in only 19 games. So pretty much to say, Beauvillier has been pretty decent against the Rangers. But honestly, he's one of my favorite Islanders. I love Beauvillier. I mean, I really can't say a whole lot of Islander players that I like, but Beauvillier is one of my favorite players.
Well, I don't know what it is. I mean, there are certain players that just bring out the best in themselves when it comes to whether it be playoff games or rivalry games. But Anthony Beauvillier happens to be a player that does pretty well in both, I would say. And now I'm gonna get to Andrew's favorite part of the video here, where I pull up the highlights from the massacre last night. So, what do you think? Should we go through this whole thing, or should we?
If you want to, but you know what? I'm out. All right, I'll see you later.
All right. Well, everybody looks like it's just going to be me for the rest of the time, so we're just going to be watching Islander highlights. So, yeah. I mean, I wonder if they have. Pelech had a pretty nice move yesterday, banking it around. I forget who it was.
He did. Yes, I remember seeing that. That was a very nice play.
I'm going to try and skip around here a little bit just so we can kind of, watch more goals than anything else, but because there were a lot of them. As much as I don't want to bring that up, but
yeah, sure, you don't want to bring it up, yeah.
Who am I kidding? I want to bring it up. I don't know how this one didn't go in.
This is a really good save by Shesterkin. You got the first one, and then he just got lucky with behind him. It looks like Kravtsov might have, got it out of the zone, which is good.
I think this is the first goal here, and it's just a nice passing play. So Beauvillier gets the puck, Pajot, and then to Bailey. That's a nice play there.
Yeah, there was really nothing Shesterkin can do about that. Again, you mentioned just very nice passing play by Bailey, Pajot, and Eberle, I believe.
Beauvillier.
Oh, Beauvillier, excuse me. Yeah, but I mean that was just a nice play. Igor can't do anything about that. Potato should have lifted his stick or something, but Bailey just outworked him to get the goal.
And then this is another move that I want to just break down really quickly here. Nelson just goes a quick inside out on Ryan Lindgren, and I don't know if you knew this. He actually hit the crossbar right there, so I don't know if the view shows it very well. but we're gonna try and skip to another. Oh well, we have another goal right here. This is, I believe, Brock Nelson. Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
nice tip.
yeah, another deflection. Again, Igor can't do anything about that. Deflections are probably the hardest thing a goaltender can really face. I'm sure if you ex goaltenders, that's probably the number one thing that they hate is deflections. Yeah, I mean, but it was a good deflection. Don't get me wrong, but Brock Nelson, doing what he does best, going in front of the net, scoring those gritty goals. Yeah, I really can't say much about it.
I don't have to ask any goalie about it. Anybody who plays street hockey with me knows I'm an elite goalie. So,
Okay.
hey, the Rangers should sign me to a contract. I'd bail them out.
And then this is another goal right here. Yes, another bad deflection that just goes right to the stick of Anthony Beauvillier. Igor had no shot on it. I'm sure we'll get to see it here again. Actually, I believe this is the play before, maybe, possibly. I don't know, but Dobson gets it. Lindgren clears it. Not clear enough, but again, Dobson's going to get the puck right back again by another nice pass by Eberle. Goes off the skate and just wide open net by Anthony Beauvillier. I'm sure my 10-year-old brother can score that.
Well, we're going to try, and I believe the Rangers goal is coming up here. So that's the chance by Rooney. I believe it comes back to the point on this play, and the Rangers are able to get on the board.
Yeah, Kravtsov just gets it to Smith. Smith throws it to the net. Rooney gets a piece of it. They cleared it as Smith's goal at first, but I believe if they show the replay here, it shows Kevin Rooney getting a little bit of his stick on it. If you see here, puck deep. Kravtsov getting it. Kravtsov's been pretty good for the Rangers, and you can't really see it right there, the deflection. Maybe this one will show a little better of an angle. Right there, yeah, barely deflects, but just barely gets past Varlamov. I mean, thank God that was the only goal they scored. I couldn't handle being talked to by you. Oh, we showed you out 6-0, blah 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 blah, or whatever. But
to be completely fair, I wasn't saying much of anything last night.
No, you were. Yeah, I'll give you that.
But I know if the Rangers happen to win 1-0 in their next game, I'm sure I'll hear it from you and from Kyle and Rob. So can't wait for that. But this is another nice goal here from
Pajot.
Don't worry, Andrew. We only have 2 more goals to get through.
We have to show every single goal?
Of course we do. Why not? Would you rather me go through the highlight film again? Because we could. I mean,
no. We already saw 4. Might as well just get the other 2 out of the way.
I mean, okay, if you insist.
I think
this is actually a nice save there by Shesterkin. Do you want to break that down a little bit?
Yeah,
rewind it a little bit.
Yeah. So another bad turnover. Nice save. Yeah, nice save. Palmieri trying to go to the backhand on Shesterkin, doesn't really get all of it, but Shesterkin, using his flexibility to his advantage. And again, just another bad turnover here. This is just a really bad play by the Rangers. Another nice pass and shot there. That one Shesterkin, I would probably say should have gotten, but I mean, just the way the night was going, it was bound to happen. But yeah, just the Rangers overall, a lot of bad turnovers, just a lot of sloppy play. And see, no one in the area of Bailey there, so he just has another wide open shot. And again, great pass by Beauvillier, behind the back, no look.
And then we only have, I believe this is the 6th one here. This is just a nice play by Eberle and Zajac, just going upstairs with that one. So, don't worry, Andrew. We got through all the goals, and hopefully we don't have to show anything else that'll. Oh, you could break it down. You want to break this down first?
I don't want to. If you want to, go ahead. Be my guest. I'm done talking about it.
Well, it's okay. For now, we can pause that. We can get back to kind of what we want to do here, and you know what though. Overall, I mean, I don't know how the Island. You know what? I don't want to say that. I mean. Here's the thing. I thought the Islanders were the better team last night, and I'm not even trying to say that to be biased. But
no, they were, 100%.
I thought with the amount of chances that they had, that Shesterkin made some pretty good saves last night. Obviously the score might, tell a different story, but not to mention the Islanders hit a few posts or something. I mean, realistically speaking, this could have been a lot worse than it actually was. I mean, I'm not trying to, be that guy, but I don't know. I mean, this was one that I think the Rangers needed. I think that they I don't know. I mean, were they just not on top of their game tonight? But what do you think
Well, I
happened?
mean, the past 4 games they just played against New Jersey Devils, and obviously the New Jersey Devils have not been a good team this year. Actually, losing last night, and I believe it was Boston winning, eliminated them from playoff contention, so they are officially out. But I mean, obviously, New Jersey's not that great of a team, but that kind of sucks for them. Playing 4 straight games against a very bad team, and then playing one of the best defensive teams in the league, and just getting absolutely blown out.
100%. I'm looking forward to the next game these two play against each other. It's always fun to see the battle in New York, especially being able to do it in person. It's definitely something that always gets the fans going. So hopefully, well, at least I'm hoping. Hopefully, the next game's a blowout for the Islanders again. But we'll see what happens here. I'm trying to be the nice guy for you, Andrew.
Yeah.
So,
All right. Yeah. Okay.
but anyway, we're going to move on to another game in the Eastern Division, and let's just say, this one also featured a team that scored 6 goals, but somehow they lost. Andrew, do you want to take this game?
Goalie showdown in this game, eh? It was just
Absolutely incredible defense from both
yeah,
teams.
of course, obviously. Penguins 7, Devils 6, and the
No,
Penguins
it's not
scored.
a typo, by the way.
No, it's not a typo. The Penguins scored 6 unanswered goals through 2 periods, and I'm pretty sure everyone thought, all right, this game's done with. Blah 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 blah. Whatever. We already scored 6 goals. We don't need it anymore. And then the Devils came to play in the third period, scoring 6 goals in the third period. I believe this is the first time a team has outscored a team in the third period by 5 goals and still lost.
I have the highlight film, by the way, if you want me to pull that up.
Do you want to be here for 30 minutes?
Well, we'll show most of the goals that happen in the third
go
period.
ahead, yeah.
So I just want to make sure I got the right one here.
Yeah,
And
actually,
I want to show one play that happened in particular. I believe it was the third goal. We're gonna try and fast forward through this a little bit. This is one that I don't know how it went in. Did you see this one from yesterday?
I did not actually. I really
Gilliland
didn't
gets
see
it.
a lot of this game.
Just
Oh,
kind
this
of
one.
bounce one
This
in
one.
and up.
Yes, that I saw. I saw that all over. Scott Wedgwood just amazed by how that went in. I'm sure everyone else was amazed on how that went in. That should just be a routine save for any goalie. But I mean, it did take a little bit of a weird bounce. So I mean, you can blame him, but you really can't at the same time. Again, that's just an awful bounce. You can't
I think
do
it's
much
safe to
about
say that I don't think Scott Wedgwood would make a very good shortstop. So I think
No.
old Scotty should stick to hockey. But we're gonna move on here. I think this is the third period. Oh, we're just getting into the third period. So this was nuts. I mean, this was realistically like I don't even know what happened in this game. As you see, Markley to Heischer breaks the shutout. That's just a nice passing play there, don't you think?
Yeah, that was a nice play. Nice little sauce that he shared, just getting it glove side on Jari. Markley's been impressed. He's been impressing me so far with the Devils. Again, nice little saucer pass, and then just a one-timer from Nico. Can't really miss from there.
And
then we have
here
another
come the
bad
Devils.
turnover here, short-handed. Sharon Govich, he's been pretty good for the Devils recently too. Going low blocker on Jari right there. But yeah, I mean, I really like Sharon Govich's game this past year.
That's just a nice shot there by Sharon Govich, and it's also nice edge work to kind of shake off Letang there. And here we got another play here. Driving to the net is Studenic, and just throws it to the net, tipped in. Excuse me, that's off the outside of the net. This should be the one that's getting tipped in here. I believe it's Nathan Bastian out in front. Shot. Yep, Nathan Bastian on the tip. So that's just a nice deflection there. Nice point shot too by Will Butcher.
Yeah, Will Butcher actually in this game recorded 3 assists, and I don't know if you know this, but so you would think if a player has 3 assists in a game, he's done pretty good this season. This season he scored 1 goal and 5 assists for 6 points. So he scored half of his points on this game, but we just missed here. Crosby with a phenomenal goal. Everyone didn't know if it went in or not, but Crosby knew right away. Nice little pass by Gensel. little one-timer from Crosby just under the bar, going right in and then right back out. And, people probably would have thought, all right, Penguins got another one. They'll just slow him down from here. And that was not the case.
I don't think a lot of people thought that would have been the game winner in this one, but here come the Devils again. It's Jack Hughes with a nice shot to the blocker side.
Yeah, I don't know if that went high blocker or low blocker, but I mean, nevertheless, it was still a nice goal. Jack Hughes had a good start to the season, has been slowing down recently. That puck they got deflected by Letang, so that kind of influenced where Jack Hughes was going to go and where he was going to put that shot.
Well, and now we're going to get another play by the Devils here. This is Ryan Murray, and it's going to come across. This is a nice shot here by, I believe it's Nolan Foote, his first National Hockey League goal.
Yeah, I
know he's got a brother named Cal who plays for Tampa, but this might be Cal, actually. I'm not too sure about that.
No, it is Nolan. Again, nice passing play, nice shot, good goal for your first career goal. And the Devils don't stop there, adding on a 6th goal, I believe. I don't know if it was here or not, but no, that was just a nice save by Tristan Jarry right there. Something we really didn't get to see a whole lot in this game, due to the fact there was 13 goals. But maybe if it did go in, a little bit of goal interference, but still a very nice save there.
And we're going to try and skip a little bit so we get this last goal. It's unfortunate they scored during the last minute of the play, because a minute of the game, I should say, because this could have been a tie game. I mean, who knows what the Devils could have done.
Yeah, this was just a really bad bounce. I always say, always get pucks to the net, good things will happen, and this kind of just proves to me that, this is true. You get the puck in deep, Jarry couldn't get it right there. Ooh. And then Johansson just getting it from the back and going off of Jarry's, I believe it was his right leg, it just squeaked in, but that was the final goal.
Well, that game is definitely something. And you want to hear a stat that I found, by the way, that I don't know if you knew this or not, but New Jersey, they scored 6 goals, obviously, in the third period. That matched a franchise record. The last time it happened was on April 6th, 1996, against the Hartford Whalers, a team that doesn't even exist anymore.
Yeah, that's crazy. And then also, every defender on Pittsburgh scored 1 point, except for Marcus Pettersson last night.
Really?
Yes. So a little fun fact right there.
Did not know that. Okay. Well, we got another Eastern Division game to move on to, and Andrew, I believe you have some highlights from this one as the Buffalo Sabres got shut out by the Boston Bruins. Tuukka Rask having a good game.
Tuukka Rask, his first shutout of the year, and I believe you saw the save, a miraculous save by did not mean to click that one. Let's do this real quick. Try to get the goal. Not the goal, the save, excuse me. Here we go, right here.
Try and hide that banner so we can see this a little better.
And you see how much room Dylan Cousins has, and Tuukka Rask is absolutely robbing him of a goal. So I'll show this again. Oh. Nice save right there. Another great save. And then just a lucky bounce and just barely gets it, Tuukka Rask. Another great save by him. He's been one of the best goalies in the league this year. Him and Halak, I know, have been splitting time together. But, it was a 2-0 win by Boston. Marchand scored his 24th of the year. Pastrnak and Mike Riley both getting their 22nd assist of the year. Connor Clifton scoring his first goal of the year. And then, as I mentioned, Tuukka Rask, 32 saves on 32 shots for his first shutout of the year.
That was definitely an amazing save by Tuukka Rask. Is that save of the year in your mind? Do you think so?
It's definitely top 5 in my opinion. I'll say that.
Okay. Well, we'll definitely be able to. I'm sure we'll have a show later in either this season or during the summertime, maybe. Kind of go through the top saves, top goals of the season. So if that's something that you guys want to see, be sure to let us know. So now we're gonna move on here, and we got a little bit of a standings update. So we're looking at the North Division here, right? Toronto's up top with 61 points. We got Winnipeg in second with 57, Edmonton in third with 56, and then Montreal rounding out the pack with 47 points. Andrew, we're going to focus here on the Toronto Maple Leafs, right? We've mentioned on the show that they're the best team, at least we think they're the best team on paper in the North Division. They're currently on a 5-game losing streak, though. Do you notice anything different with this Leafs team, or are they just not connecting on some of their chances?
Yeah, I mean they're again. You mentioned they're not really connecting on some of their chances. It kind of just shows that save by Holtby that we showed, I believe, Monday. Great save. Just an unlucky bounce, but a great save. But yeah, I mean, I really don't know what's wrong with Toronto. I mean, I think Matthews keeps scoring, Marner keeps getting assists. I think it's probably mainly due to their goaltending as of recently. I know David Riddick just came out with a statement saying that he just needs to be playing better, but as I mentioned last episode, Jack Campbell 0-2-1 in his past 3 games ever since breaking the record for most wins to start a season. But yeah, I mean, I guess really just defense and their goaltending could be a little bit better. This Toronto team kind of reminds me of the Flyers, just more of an offensive, show, I guess. That obviously, they have players like Matthews, Tavares, Marner, Hyman, and I can name much more. So they kind of do remind me of a kind of like a Philadelphia Flyer team, but just with better offense.
I would agree with that. I think one of the differences, though, that I see with a team like the Flyers and the Leafs is I feel like, especially last year when the Flyers were such a good team, I think one of the things that they were good at in particular was team defense. I felt like they were good at, they were playing very responsible with the puck. They blocked shots when they had to. They weren't afraid to get their body in the shooting lanes. And I just don't see that with this Toronto Maple Leafs team. I feel like that, and this could go back a couple of years now, not even just this season in particular, but I feel like with this Maple Leafs team, they just try to, win these games based on their scoring ability rather than their ability to play defense or even their goaltender's ability to stop pucks. I mean, do you agree with that, or do you think that's a bit of a hot take?
Yeah, no, I mean, I could definitely see it. Obviously, Leafs fans have been screaming, for a good defenseman. They do have Morgan Riley, who's again, he's always been a solid defenseman for them. This season, 4 goals, 26 assists, 30 points. But I mean, other really than that, I mean, I don't think they have that much other defensive weapons that they can use. I know Justin Hole's back there. I'm just trying to think even of the Maple Leafs defensive core. I really can't even right now. So
I don't think
I mean,
they have. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I don't think they
fine.
have many like defensive defensemen. I mean, if you're looking at their team, they have Morgan Riley, who's an offensive defenseman, Travis Dermott, offensive defenseman. I mean, Jake Muzzin's more of a two-way, I would say. TJ Brody's more of the same, but I don't think they have any like defensive, like stay-at-home D-men who will, lay their body in the line to block shots. I feel like they're pretty much their entire defense core is based on their ability to score.
Yeah, I mean, I think probably the only defensive defenseman that you could probably put in is Zach Bogosian, but I mean, Zach Bogosian's not really that great of a player, as we've seen in, recent years. No hate to him. He's in the NHL and something I can't do, but I mean, he's just really not up to par as an NHL top 6 defenseman. I would probably put him in, that 7th category or maybe just even like a healthy scratch. But yeah, I mean, I think in the off season, if they don't win the cup this year, they could definitely use some defensive defensemen.
I would agree with that. And then, if we're looking at this Leafs team now, do you think there's any chance that Winnipeg passes them, or do you think Toronto begins to really, kind of get their mojo together and really just get their game back?
I don't know. It's kind of tough to say. I know, like in the past week, we did say, oh, Toronto, is the best team in the North Division. They're coming out with it. But I mean, the way they've been playing recently, I really can't say that. They do have Toronto does have 1 game ahead of them on the Winnipeg Jets, and they are 4 points ahead of the Winnipeg Jets. So that's only 2 games. Jets could have 2 great games, Maple Leafs could have 2 bad games, and then boom, Winnipeg's in first place right there. So. I mean, I still do think Toronto will come out on top and the Jets finishing in 2nd place, but you never know.
Well, it'll definitely be entertaining to see how the North Division kind of ends up. I know a lot of hockey fans, not even just Canadian fans, but people in general, were really excited to see, kind of all the Canadian teams playing in a division against each other. I feel like that's cool to see. I mean, do you think that this is something that maybe the league would want to look into in the near future? Do you think this has been like entertaining to watch, or would you rather you just go back to just seeing the regular divisions here?
Well, I mean, it is nice, obviously, but I mean, I think what would probably improve them, which they can't do this year, is if they did play every other team in the league. I think that would be very interesting to see. Just seeing how competitive the Canadian teams are. This year, especially again with Toronto, Winnipeg, Edmonton, Montreal, and I think Vancouver, obviously, not having the best year, but I still think they have a bright future ahead of them. So, I mean, this would be something I would definitely like to see.
Well, it would be something that I want to see too, but I just don't know how the division alignments would work out, especially with Seattle coming into the league next year. I feel like it just shakes everything up to a point where you don't really know what's going to happen. So, as much as I want to see it happen, I don't think it would work out. But I guess you never know, right? So,
Yeah.
but anyway, now we're gonna move on here, and we're actually gonna move on to a pretty well-known prospect across the NHL world. Especially if you've been paying attention to the World Junior teams the last couple of seasons, you know who Spencer Knight is. You know how talented of a goaltender he is, and how good he was for Team USA. And Andrew, he made his NHL debut yesterday against the Columbus Blue Jackets, and he was phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, obviously Spencer Knight making his NHL debut and getting his first NHL victory in his debut, which is something we really don't get to see a whole lot. But yeah, as you mentioned, he was basically gorgeous. Recorded 33 saves on 34 shots, so obviously that's still pretty good. I feel like with most goaltenders, you get, oh, okay, I made like 18 saves, but yeah, there was 19 shots. So you really didn't get to face a whole lot of shots. So you really didn't get to test him that much. But with Spencer Knight, 34 shots, I'd say that's a decent amount of shots, to get on a goalie in his first NHL debut, and making 33 saves, only letting in one of those goals. So I mean, this is definitely good to see. I've always been big on Spencer Knight, so this could possibly be their goaltender of the future. But I mean, I don't know what they're going to do with Bobrovsky. Do you think they could possibly let them fall to Seattle in the expansion draft?
Um, See, I don't know. I mean, I just think that $10 million cap hit is just way too much. I don't think Seattle would necessarily take that on, but at the same time, I mean, it's not like Bobrovsky has been completely awful for the Panthers. I mean, he definitely wasn't the best last year, but I think at the same time he's still a serviceable goaltender. I mean, um, I don't know. I mean, it's tough to say right now because the Panthers right now they're in a spot that I don't think they've been in for a long time. Where first of all they're a Stanley Cup contender, but I mean they have three goaltenders who they don't want to lose by any means. Obviously, Spencer Knight is your prized goaltending prospect. He's your future. Um, and you kind of have Bobrovsky to show him the ropes, kind of show him what it's like to play in the NHL. But don't forget, they also have Chris Drieger, right, who's been a solid backup for Bobrovsky recently. So, I mean, I don't know. This is the last year of Drieger's contract, though, so maybe Florida decides to, maybe they decide to let him walk. Maybe they re-sign him to keep him as a third goaltender. I don't really know, but um, it's definitely interesting to see kind of the plethora of goalies that the Panthers have, is it not?
Yeah, no, it is. And you mentioned, Bobrovsky kind of having like bounce back year. And 26 games played, he's 17-7-2 with a 2.8 goals against average and a .909 save percentage. So not the greatest numbers, but I mean, from last year, this is definitely a bounce back season for Bobrovsky. And yeah, it's kind of weird with the Panthers. Obviously Bobrovsky, good goaltender. Driger, a good backup goaltender, and Spencer Knight. Obviously making a good first impression in his debut last night. It would be definitely interesting to see. I think they would sign Drieger back, maybe to like a low contract, just so the chance that Seattle could take Driger in an expansion draft or even Bobrovsky. So it'd definitely be interesting to see.
Either that, or maybe do you think they start Spencer Knight in the AHL next year, and then they kind of keep Drieger and Bobrovsky? See, it's tough to say because I know that he had a good NHL debut, and I know that, obviously a lot of people have been looking forward to what Spencer Knight can do in the NHL. But at the same time, this is going off of any sport, right? Just because you have a good debut for a not just in your career, but for a team even, it doesn't necessarily point to success. So I think it'll be, I don't know. I mean, what do you think? I mean, obviously, I know Spencer Knight he's an incredible goaltender, but it's too early to say whether or not he starts in the NHL next season, is it not?
Yeah, no, it's definitely interesting to see. Obviously, Bobrovsky is, one of the most respected goaltenders in the league. He's 32 right now, so he probably only has about, I'd say like 6 years remaining, left in the NHL, which I think probably lines up perfectly with his contract. So he would probably retire after his contract. But yeah, I mean, you never really know. Yeah, Austin Matthews, 4 goals. What has he done after that in his debut?
I've never heard of him after that. That's the bum.
Yeah, but I mean, again, you really never know. I mean, your first debut doesn't correlate to how good your career goes. You kind of probably need a couple seasons, just to say, okay, this guy's going to be very, very good, or maybe he'll be a backup, for another team. So, I mean, I don't know. It'll definitely be interesting to see with their goaltending situation in the future.
Again, I guess we'll see what happens. But you were right, by the way, in the fact that if Bobrovsky does play 6 more seasons, that lines up perfectly with how much time he has left in the NHL. And I mean, I'm looking at if you guys haven't heard of Cap Friendly, by the way, it's an amazing website that you can literally see every single team in the league's kind of their cap situation, how much every player is making. It's very organized. It's very it's very cool to look at. So if you haven't looked at that before, then highly suggest it for any of you big hockey fans out there. But I mean, Drieger's only 26 too, and Spencer Knight's 20 years old himself. So realistically speaking, I mean, this could be the Panthers goaltending duo for the next, I would say, decade plus, in my opinion. I think Spencer Knight's, I think Spencer Knight's got a good. I think he's in for a pretty solid NHL career. I would say, I don't know, 10, 15 years maybe. So.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we've seen it with, goaltenders, before, starting young and then again, like Carter Hart. I mean, obviously, he's not having the greatest year this year, but his first 2 years in the league, they were pretty good. He came in at a young age, and we can only really hope for the best. And actually, fun fact: Spencer Knight is the first goalie born in the 2000s to record an NHL win. So that's a little fun fact for you.
Really? Okay. When was he born? Is it 2000 or 2001?
2000, I believe.
Okay. Huh. I actually didn't know that. That's actually an interesting stat there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, wow. That makes me feel great about myself, by the way.
Yeah, we're only 1 year younger than them, and these kids are shining in the NHL.
Well, not even that. I mean, like if we're talking about this year's draft anyway, Alexei Lafreniere is, I don't know, I'm 5 months older than he is.
Alexei Lafreniere is 1 week older than me. Exactly 1 week older than me.
I know how
he
that
was born
feels.
October 11th. I was born October 18th. Both 2001.
Trevor Zegras is actually 1 week older than I am, like to the dot. So
it's crazy.
That makes me feel great about myself.
Oh, of course, yeah. It gives me so much confidence.
Like, these kids are 20 years old and playing in the NHL. I'm 20 years old and I'm like, having like, I don't know.
Well, technically, I have skated with NHL players on NHL ice. Technically. For anyone who doesn't know, I used to work for the New York Islanders ice crew. Unfortunately, I couldn't do it this year. I got surgery on my foot, but I'm hoping to be back next year. I had a really fun experience, even though I am a Ranger fan. They treated everyone, very well. Very classy organization.
Well, it's ironic that the organization that you might hate the most pays your bills. So
yes, sir.
I don't know. I mean, McDavid, who? I think Andrew Maurice is the best player to ever touch Coliseum ice. Am I right?
Oh, God. Yeah, of course. I just remember skating, alongside McDavid, everyone else, Crosby, some guys in the Rangers, Adam Fox, Panarin, and just my heart was just pounding. Usually if someone's in our way, we just got to say, oh, excuse me. I remember one game against the Rangers. I forget who it was. It was some defenseman on the Rangers. And, I was just shoveling and they were in my way. And I just couldn't say, oh, excuse me. I was just too nervous. I just had to go right around them and miss my little part of the snow, but it's no big deal.
Like a feeling of being starstruck, or how does it feel to have?
Yeah, like honestly, my first game that I worked, it was a preseason game. It was Isles Flyers, and I just remember stepping on the ice and just with fans surrounding me, and just me just kind of just going into shock, like, wow, this is actually happening to me. This is real life. I'm skating on NHL ice with NHL players around me, something I never thought I was going to do in my life. So it's a great opportunity to do that.
Well, I'm sure that you thought you'd be doing that with a jersey on, but
With
I guess
jersey stick and yeah, everything else.
I guess the ice crew is a good alternative. So
It's close enough.
I mean, potato, am I right?
Exactly.
But anyway, speaking of that, we actually have some playoff scenarios to update on. And it's kind of crazy that we're talking about playoff scenarios. So I mean, actually, I can't really even say that because we're nearing we're on the home stretch of the season.
Yeah, we're
So
only like 2 or 3 weeks away from playoffs. I can't wait. It's probably my favorite time of the year, especially for sports. Obviously, I would say NHL is probably the best playoffs out of any of the four major sports in America: NFL, NBA, MLB. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like playoff hockey, it's just something that it's just I really can't explain the words of it. It's just amazing.
well, I think I speak for everybody when I say it's always fun to watch playoff hockey, and am I the only one who feels like it's almost more fun to watch when you're not watching your favorite team play? I feel
Honestly,
like
yeah.
I feel like every time I watch the Islanders in a playoff game, it's always like the stress is building up.
Yep.
You
Yep.
want them to win, but you watch any other game, it's entertaining to see.
Yeah, it's just
So
back and forth hockey. You never know what's going to happen. We saw 2 years ago with Columbus beating Tampa, and that was probably something that 99% of NHL fans never thought would have happened. I remember actually the Nasher 61 YouTuber. He put out a tweet and it was like, yeah, Columbus in 4, and he made like a video about it. And he was like, that was a complete joke. He was like, I never thought that was going to happen, and it eventually happened. So it just shows that literally anything could happen in the NHL.
well, 100%. And I think we're talking about it. Every young hockey player, and I know this is kind of a random thing for me to bring up, but I think every young hockey player, their goal is to one day play in the NHL to some capacity, whether it's I think everybody dreams of being a superstar, but at the same time, you're just trying to make it there. You're just trying to really just make an impact for yourself. And I mean, now we have some updates for junior hockey here. The OHL and the WHL both put out some updates recently. The OHL will actually not hold the 2020-2021 season due to COVID concerns, and then with the WHL, they're announcing that they won't hold a playoff after their regular season due to COVID-19. So, Andrew, before we kind of break everything down here, these kids are obviously playing in these minor league hockey organizations to get recognized by scouts to get drafted. In the WHL, you're getting a limited amount of exposure to scouts, but in the OHL, they're not even getting to play a season at all. Do you think that would be rough on them to, be put in a position like that?
Yeah, it's definitely rough. You basically work your whole life, for this opportunity, and then just think about it. All of a sudden, your league's just like, all right, hey, we're not playing this year. Sorry. And, it hurts you definitely, like luckily I haven't had to deal with anything, any playing time due to COVID for my high school league at least. But, yeah, I mean, I can just imagine, how this feels for all those players, working your heart out basically every day, trying to make it to the NHL, and then just having your season get canceled. It obviously sucks. You can't play, you can't show your skills to all these scouts. So, you never know. Will I get drafted? Will I not get drafted, due to this? So it's definitely interesting to see.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I don't know how I'd feel about that. I mean, I think the whole idea of playing in a league like the OHL is to get some draft exposure. And I think that if I'm not even, like we said before, I mean, in the WHL, you're getting just a regular season, but you're still not getting as much exposure and as much playing time as you might want. And I mean, we had mentioned it before with when we were talking about Anthony Beauvillier, right? Some players just haven't, they have a, flair for the dramatic, if you will, right? They're always able to step up in the big moment, and their game gets better when the playoffs roll around.
I feel
And
like
I feel like
sorry to interrupt you, but I feel like a good
yeah,
example would be Jake Gensel.
yeah,
Jake Gensel is probably one of the best playoff performers, and don't get me wrong, he still has very good regular seasons, but I feel like his name doesn't pop up until the playoffs. You always see Gensel scoring in the playoffs. I believe 2 years ago, I think he had multiple hat tricks against the Philadelphia Flyers in the first round. So he's just a very good playoff performer, and you see stuff in the MLB too. This past year, Randy Rosarina having the most home runs ever in a postseason history as a rookie. So some players just like the spotlight, some just don't.
I agree with that 100%. I mean, I was kind of segueing this into our next thing here. I mean, the WHL isn't even having a playoff at all. I just find that weird because, like, I mean, I don't know. I don't really want to look at it like this because this is kind of like a full picture kind of thing as opposed to taking it game by game. But I mean, isn't the point of playing a regular season just to kind of, determine your seeding for the playoffs? I mean, am I wrong when I say that, or?
Yeah, no, I mean you're 100% right. I mean, obviously, they're lucky enough just to play the regular season, just to get your names on the board of scouts and whatnot. But I feel like that's probably the most important thing for them. It's just getting their names, on NHL scouts. But I feel like the second most important thing is winning a championship, and they're not going to be able to do that. So, I mean, personally, I would be 100% upset by it. Just playing a regular season. Say you have the best team in the league. Oh, we're gonna win the championship this year, and then just all of a sudden, you'll play the regular season, but no one's gonna win the championship this year. That would definitely piss me off.
It hurts, yeah. I mean, like you mentioned before, these so high in the standings, they're going to want to play playoff hockey. And I don't know. I just feel like at that point, there's almost no point in playing the season then.
Yeah,
Because,
I mean, I personally, if I found out that there was not going to be a playoffs, I probably would just be like, all right, I'm not playing then. Like, I'm sorry. Like, my main goal here is to win a championship for this team, and if I can't do that, then there's no reason for me to play.
or would you try and maybe switch over to another league that would play a playoff?
Oh,
I don't know.
100%, I would.
I mean, I was gonna say I don't know what the case is maybe with some of the European minor leagues, but granted, I mean everything's obviously more difficult with COVID and everything. But is that something that you maybe would consider at that point, or I
100% I
mean,
would consider about it. Obviously, we've seen Austin Matthews go to Europe, just to play over there. But yeah, I mean, if I would definitely get a chance to win any type of, professional championship, I would 100% do it, no matter what league it is, no matter how hard, how, easy it is. I know any league's not easy, but I mean, yeah, I would 100% try to look for other options just to win the championship.
I agree with that 100%. And I think regardless of, regardless of what country you come from, I think all over the world, the goal in any sport is just to win a championship, right? And I don't know, it would just be difficult for me to not be able to contend for a championship, regardless of where my team is at in the standings. So I don't know. That might be just maybe that's just a personal thing with the two of us, but I don't know. I mean, let us know how you would feel about that. Would you guys do the same? Would you maybe want to just play for the recognition at that point? Let us know what you guys think in the comments, and we'll kind of go from there, I guess. But talking about the topic of world hockey, right? The IIHF has been probably the leading organization in terms of international hockey for a long, long time. Obviously, they put together tournaments like the World Juniors and the World Championships for both the men's and the women's organization. And they actually just announced today that the 2021 IIHF tournament that was set to take place in Halifax has been canceled due to COVID-19 concerns. I think the goal as of right now is to play sometime over the summer, but I don't know what the exact timeline is, in terms of looking at another window when you could play. But Andrew, for some of these women who want to showcase their skills and really try and grow the game of women's hockey, this is absolutely brutal to see, is it not?
Yeah, of course. I mean, again, like I said before, these women have worked their heart out, just to play, not even just play for, just the regular NWHL team, but, to play for their country. That to me is probably the most, respectful thing, someone can do to me. If the USA was like, hey, we want you to play for our team, out of all of the players in, America, we want you to play. That would just be like, wow, that is respect. Out of everyone, they want me to play. So it does suck for them. They're not going to be able to show their showcase for, any country. But yeah, no, it does suck.
I think it stings a lot in particular, especially given how much the women's game has grown over the last couple of years, and I think that was really boosted from when we saw Kendall Coyne at the NHL All-Star game taking the fastest skater lap. I don't know if that was I want to say it was in the 2019 All-Star game in San Jose. I believe that's when her lap
That's when
was.
it first started, yes. And I don't know if she came back for 2020 for the one in St. Louis. I'm not 100% sure. But yeah, I mean, again, that just shows, hey, like, we're trying to grow this sport. We're trying to, we're just trying to show not even just hockey, like women's hockey. I feel like not a lot of people, recognize it. And I've actually watched, I think they some teams played at Madison Square Garden this year, and I actually, got the chance to look at that game, and I thought it was really interesting. Some of these girls, they can, they can play hockey. I'm sure a lot of them would be able to dangle them. Not even a lot of them. I'm sure every single one of them could have just, walked by me with ease. So I mean, yeah, it's good for them.
100%. I mean, we do have a little bit of an update on the men's not World Juniors, World Championships. Excuse me. There were a few rumors as to who could be invited to powerhouse teams like the U.S. and Team Canada. This is coming from Darren Drager, who's one of the more reliable NHL insiders out there. And he says Carter Hart, I should say, Mackenzie Blackwood, Bo Horvat, Andrew Mangiapane, Thomas Chabot, Gabe Vilardi, Dylan Cousins, Dylan Dubé, and Ty Smith are expected to be invited to Team Canada for the World Hockey Championship. Andrew, just your immediate thoughts on that list really quickly. That there's a lot of firepower with a lot of young players on that list.
Yeah, no, obviously you mentioned Carter Hart, another good young Canadian, Blackwood, who's been pretty much under the radar this year, playing for a really bad team, the Devils. He's having a pretty good year. Bo Horvat, as I mentioned last episode, one of my favorite players in the league, one of the most underrated players in the league, in my opinion. Tom Chabot, another great defenseman playing on a very bad team in Ottawa, doesn't really get the recognition he deserves. Gabe Vilardi, who's been pretty good for the Kings this year. Dylan Cousins, who's one of my favorite Buffalo Sabres. Ty Smith, again, having another great year for the Devils, just can't really showcase it, mainly the fact that the team he's on. But yeah, all of these young players, they definitely have an impact on the game, and for them to represent Team Canada, most likely, I'm pretty sure it would be an honor for them.
100% it would be. And now I'm just trying to think of, obviously we're both from the States, and I don't know who the U.S. would try and recruit to try and counter Team Canada. I guess it depends on who misses the playoffs and in what division. I would imagine that, I mean, the first two that instantly came to mind to me were probably the Hughes brothers, Quinn and Jack. I feel like they're locks for the World Championship team. And
Patrick Kane as well.
Kane, yeah. I mean, I would have said Eichel, depending on how long his recovery is going to take, but that might be a little bit of a stretch. Dylan Larkin, maybe, from Detroit. I don't know. I mean, there could be a lot of solid
Maybe
options for the
Chuck brothers as well, too.
Possibly. I mean, especially since I think both of them are expected to miss the play. Both of their teams, anyway, are expected to miss the playoffs. I don't know. I mean, that could be a good one. The Tkachuk brothers playing, maybe playing on a line.
That would be very hype to see. I would want to watch that for sure.
Well, it's definitely a good time to be not just a fan of USA hockey, but fan of international hockey as well. So I guess we'll kind of see what happens with the World Championships. And, now we're going to move on to something that a lot of people I don't think are really giving enough attention to, and that is the Calder Trophy race. Andrew, I know you have a third nominee for the Calder Trophy, but I think as of right now, I would say it's between Kirill Kaprizov of the Minnesota Wild and Jason Robertson of the Dallas Stars. Do you agree with that? Do you disagree with that? I want to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Agree. You know, Kaprizov having a great year, 44 games played, 18 goals, 19 assists for 37 points. And then Robertson, 40 games played, 14 goals, 21 assists for 35 points. So, yeah, I mean, both having an outstanding year. I mean, Jason Robertson's been pretty much under the radar, I feel like, this whole year. Everyone's been focusing on Kaprizov and how well he's been doing for the Minnesota Wild. But I feel like Jason Robertson, one of the underrated rookies in the league, you know, now getting attention he deserves. You know, only 2 points behind Robertson, 2 points behind Kaprizov, excuse me, for the rookie leader in points. So I feel like it's a lot closer than people think. And also, Robertson has 4 less games played and only two less points. So think if he played those 4 games, you know, could he catch up with Kaprizov? I mean, I don't know.
Do you think that maybe he takes him over as the Stars begin to make up games a little bit, or because I mean we got to think here. Usually we would be seeing the Stars and the Wild go at it in the regular Central Division, but obviously this year, Minnesota's playing out in the Western Division, and then Dallas is still in the Central, which is now, I mean, I guess you can combine parts of the Eastern Conference, parts of the Western Conference, but I mean, do you see Robertson taking over Kaprizov's role as the rookie scoring leader?
I could definitely see it 100%. Yeah, I mean, I think if the Stars keep playing well, which I believe they're only 1 point behind Nashville, they are for 4th place. They are indeed. So, and I said last week, I think not last week, last Monday, excuse me. I said Dallas could possibly be making a comeback for the playoffs. They were in the 6th spot when I said that, and now they're in the 5th spot, only 1 game behind Nashville. So, I mean, if Robertson can keep playing well, I think, you know, it could definitely happen. We have the Predators Blackhawks tonight, so that's a big game for Dallas. I mean, really, I would say you would probably want. I don't even know who I would want them to win. Probably not Nashville, Chicago at that point. But yeah, I think Robertson could definitely take the lead.
I think it'll be really cool to see how how the race kind of plays itself out. And we're running out of time, but I have 2 more questions for you regarding this Calder Trophy race. Number one being, I know a lot of people have not outlashed about it, but they've had differing opinions on players like Kirill Kaprizov who have played in the KHL and then have come over to the NHL, being a few years older than some of these other rookie players. Do you agree with the fact that you shouldn't be eligible to win the Calder Trophy if you play in the KHL, or do you just think this is all just? I mean, I don't know about you, but I just like to see rookies tear it up regardless of where they come from, and I mean, Kaprizov's been one of the most entertaining rookies all year, so I kind of want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's kind of interesting because I feel like, you know, you have the NHL and then probably the next best league, I would say, is the KHL. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, technically, yes, he's a rookie. I mean, I don't know how many seasons he played in the KHL, but I think if you played over, I'd say 2 or 3 years in the KHL, you probably shouldn't be, you know, called a rookie in the NHL. But I mean, technically, it is true. You are a rookie, but I mean, I don't know. It's a little weird. What are your thoughts about it?
I don't know. I mean, like we said before, technically Kaprizov is a rookie in the NHL, and see, here's the thing though, and I saw an argument on Twitter that really got my mind thinking a little bit that the same thing really happened with Artemi Panarin a few years ago when he won the Calder Trophy. And I think that, it's one thing to say that a player has more experience than another player, but I mean, I believe in Panarin's Calder Trophy winning season. He outscored the next highest scoring rookie by, I believe it was 20 points or more. So at the end of the day, you really don't have much of an argument to lean on other than the fact that he has more professional hockey experience. With Kaprizov and Robertson, on the other hand, it's a lot closer than a lot of people are giving him credit for. And I don't know. I mean, as of right now, I would still say Kaprizov is my favorite to win the Calder Trophy. I think that he's done so much just making the Minnesota Wild just a more entertaining team not just to follow but to watch, and that's something that the Minnesota Wild really haven't had for a long, long time. So I don't know. I think it'll be entertaining to see how the race plays out. That's for sure.
Definitely. And actually, we have some breaking news real quick. Pierre LeBrun just tweeted out the NHL on the GM's call today shared its hopeful target date for the puck drop next fall, October 12th. So training camps hopefully opening September 22nd and October 12th start if there are no delays. So that's pretty big news.
Well, there you go. And I know they were talking about they really wanted to drive it home that they wanted to have a more regular schedule with next season, and hopefully they'll be able to do that now. I guess the next step would be trying to figure out if you can increase fan capacity across different arenas. But I guess that's a bridge that we can cross when we come to it. One last question here before we decide to move out here. Do you have a third nominee, if you will, if the season were to end today? I think I know who your nominee would be, but if you had to pick a third kind of runner-up for the Calder Trophy, who would you pick?
And I'm just gonna say this, and I don't think this guy will win it. I think he should just be a nominee, and I think it's gonna be Igor Shesterkin. 28 games played, 13-10-3 record. Obviously not the best, but if you look at his stats, 2.43 goals against average and a .920 save percentage. That's pretty good stats for a rookie goaltender.
His save percentage is pretty good. I mean, goals against and record could be better, but
I think before last night, his goals against average was like 2.2 or something like that. So one bad game can really just shake up your stats.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I actually want to share my third. I mean, I don't want to call it a runner-up, but my third finalist, if you will, and it's actually not anybody who I think you would think of. Nobody in the Islanders anyway, so you don't have to worry about me kind of pulling the bias card, if you will. There's a rookie down in Nashville that's really caught my eye. Eeli Tolvanen of the Nashville Predators. He's been solid for them all year. He's got 10 goals, 9 assists for 19 points in 31 games. And, this kid's only 21 years old, but he is so, so good for the Nashville Predators. He really does it all. I mean, he's got a lethal shot. He's a good passer. He's got really good vision. Makes the Nashville power play really a force to reckon with, if you will. So, I don't know. I mean, this could be it could be an underrated rookie, if you will, but I could definitely see Tolvanen making a push for that third spot. So, Andrew, before we wrap it up here, you have we forgot to do this on Monday. You have the 3 stars of the week for, I believe it was last week.
Yes, I do. Let me just bring it up real quick. I know the first star was Dustin Tokarski, getting his first win, I believe, with the Buffalo Sabres after his father unfortunately passed away. So, I mean, that was obviously good to see for him. Artemi Panarin, second star of the week, and then Mark Stone, third star of the week. So, I mean, I think Panarin put up 10 points in 4 games, and I'm not sure about Mark Stone, but, I mean, Mark Stone's just been a good player all around this year.
100%. And, yeah, I mean, I think that's it for me. I mean, Andrew, do you have anything you want to say to the crowd before we get going?
No, I think that's pretty much it. Another good episode. I can't wait to do this Friday again with you. And yeah, that's pretty much about it.
100%. I mean, couldn't have said anybody myself. Well, guys, thanks again for tuning in. I mean, like I said before, we're very happy that we're in this position right now. So we just want to give another thank you to Linda and to Mac and to everybody who really just believed in us and really just gave us the opportunity to do what we want to do. So yeah, I mean, that being said, this has been the 2-on-0 Hockey Show. For Andrew Marisi, I'm Carter Bentavenga, and we will see you